and thanks for tuning into the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Chamberlain Uso at Channels Television here in Lagos. I'm joined by Esther Githu-Ewart at Voice of America in Washington.
Thanks. I'm Esther Githu-Ewart at our global headquarters in Washington, D.C. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with a look at the Nigerian government's efforts to clamp down on deforestation. Chamberlain Uso in Lagos brings you that story.
Oh, that's right. The European Union Fund is working with the Bauchi state government in Nigeria to reclaim lands that have been lost to tree felling across the state. About 8 million trees have so far been planted under the project, and 147,000 hectares of land have been reclaimed in the program, which started in 2014. While the state government is impressed by the partnership, it is pledging to sustain the project.
A combination of drought and deforestation has turned this land to a desert, making it unsuitable for farming activities. In a bid to reclaim the degraded land in Katsina State, the European Union has been working over the last 5 years with the federal government, the Katsina State government and the residents through the Fuel Wood Balance Project, FUOBA. Oxfam and the International Center for Energy, Environment and Development, ICID, are the implementing agencies, and 7 local government areas have benefited from the project. The project is to encourage tree planting and designing energy-efficient clean-cook stoves. The Afforestation Project had the mandate to plant and maintain 5.5 million trees, produce and disseminate 35,000 efficient clean-cook stoves across the 7 benefiting local government areas of Aure, Daura, Dutse, Mashi, Mayadua, Sandamu and Zango.
We plan to reach 35,000 households, and we got to, over 40,000 households, and so we overshot all our target in all parameters of assessment.
At a 3-day end-of-project evaluation review meeting, marking the closing out ceremony of the 5-year project, the ICI's Gender and Social Development Advisor believes that the project had since inception, in addition to tree planting, empowered local artisans whose capacities have been built to produce more energy-based efficient stoves.
The project, in addition to planting trees, has also empowered local artisans whose capacity has been built to produce mud-based energy-efficient wood stoves. These stoves reduce wood consumption, smoke emission, and improve the health of local women in households where these stoves are used.
On its part, the Katsina State government is commending the EU for considering the state, assuring continuous collaboration where needed, and pledges to look into the issue of sustaining the project by extending it to the remaining local government areas. As the project closes out on Tuesday, residents of Katsina State are optimistic that the impressive milestone recorded by the project will be sustained.
Joining us now to discuss more on the need to combat climate change, Dr. Ikenna Nwosu is an associate professor of marine sciences at the University of Lagos. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, there's been this argument which keeps going back and forth as to whether or not we're experiencing climate change here in the country. What do you think?
I think we are experiencing climate change, and the data supports it, seriously.
In what way is that?
2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, you could say we were not sure. Is this climate natural variability, the ups and downs we see as seasons come and go? But more recently, the trends are clear, the figures are clear. More important data coming in, consistent data over time to show that in the last 50 years, in the last 100 years, there is a definite positive rise in the temperature and the warming of the earth.
So what recent events, activities in different parts of the country can you point to substantiate this?
Well, I could take 2 instances. Let me go from a database example. NIMET, our Nigerian Institute for Meteorological Research, has predicted and forecasted that the previous years have been the hottest in history, and the next ones are going to be hotter. If we take a look at the inland lakes that we have, including our Lake Chad, it used to be shared by 4 countries. Right now, what remains of Lake Chad is just in 1 country. Most of our lakes are drying up. Our flood conditions are at very devastating scale now, and drought and desertification from the north is increasing. These encroachments are like never before. We're experiencing things in our weather patterns that we didn't used to experience. And sometimes you have rainfall in one day that you could have had the total volume in a month. We have seen this repeatedly, and the trends are going. Sea level rise effect, for instance, in Lagos, is beginning to threaten shoreline communities. Disappearance of some fishing communities because the waters are reaching further at high tide, and ocean acidification is wiping out and reducing the number of the diversity of species we have and even the abundance of these things that we have. So there is clear and present evidence and danger.
Well, perhaps so those who latch onto that, we've always been encouraged,
Yes.
and lately too, that we should plant more trees,
Yes.
change our behavior towards the environment. But there are several things that people can do. What would you suggest? What immediate kind of actions can we immediately latch onto to at least improve the environment?
Yeah, thank you very much for that, because that's very, very key. But more importantly is the fact that the people must be aware, they must be enlightened to realize that this is a situation we must all come together, concerted effort to change. So information is key. People must speak out, people must know. People must know what they must do. Reduce your energy uses. Use more of energy efficient appliances. Plant more trees like you have mentioned, but at a much more state level, national level. It must be integrated into a national strategy for the effects of climate change. Nigeria is a signatory to the Paris Agreement 2015. We have ratified it. The COP25 just finished in Madrid, Spain. These are the peoples of the world coming together and saying we need urgent action with regard to the deleterious effect of climate change.
I know that time and again, we hear state governments, federal governments, they keep talking about planting trees as well.
Yeah.
What further action do you think they can take to galvanize the people and urge them on?
Well, we could encourage coming up with a policy that holds together new technologies, green technologies, climate scientists, information, to come to solve our problem by reducing waste, by reducing our energy use, by cutting down carbon emissions, and by altogether enlightening the people to be more environment friendly. This will help us a long way.
All right then, Dr. Kinanyama, thank you for talking to us today on the program.
Yes, thank you very much.